This episode is the one that makes everything we've covered actionable. 4 periodized 16-week training plans, beginners through advanced, walking, running, and cycling, all built on the evidence, all ready to start tomorrow. If you've watched episodes 1, 2, and 3, you've got the framework, the threshold model, and the tools to find your zones. Now you need a structure to plug into. That's what this episode delivers. Quick housekeeping note. This is the densest episode in the series and the hardest one to capture watching it on screen. The full plans, week by week, session by session, are in my free downloadable guide linked in the description. So make sure you do this now so that you can follow along and institute the program that is most applicable to you. What I'm going to give you here is the architecture and the key principles. The implementation details are in the document. I'm Dr. Lyle Ashberg, an orthopedic surgeon with Health Nexus Orthopedics and Wellness. This is episode 4 of 5 in the Cardiovascular Training Roadmap series. It's time to get started on your roadmap to better health and fitness. Let's do this. Before we get into specifics, one concept that applies to all 4 training plans is something called the mesocycle. A mesocycle is a 4-week training block. The first 3 weeks of every plan involves progressively increasing the load, more volume, more intensity, or both. And the 4th week is deload, a planned reduction of about 30% in volume and intensity to allow for physiologic supercompensation, reduce accumulated fatigue, and prevent overtraining. The 16-week plans we're about to walk you through are built as 4 sequential mesocycles. The structure prevents the most common recreational training failure, piling on volume continuously until something breaks. Body, your motivation, or both. Deload weeks aren't optional. They're where adaptation happens. If you're starting from sedentary or near sedentary, this is your plan. The goal is not fitness performance. It starts with developing an exercise habit with an aerobic base and striving for and then gradually meeting the physical activity guidelines that are usually recommended, which is at least 150 minutes per week of moderate to intense activity. All training is below LT1. There is no high-intensity work in the first 12 weeks. None. The plan assumes you can walk. Obviously, if walking is challenging for you, for instance, if you have arthritis or a history of injury or tendonitis, you can still do this with a non-weight-bearing exercise like a stationary bike or a water walking or something like that. Remember, as a beginner, any training plan, or TID as it's called, has benefit. But safety is our priority here. And most importantly, you've just got to get started. Your key milestones here are develop the habit, build, progress, and then consolidate. In this plan, you can see that in weeks 1 through 4, you're building the habit. These are slow, comfortable sessions. In mesocycle 2, you're adding some brisk walking into the mix. In mesocycle 3, you might be adding a bit of jogging. And in mesocycle 4, where you consolidate, again, you're doing mostly brisk walks and maybe a little bit of jogging as well. But follow the card and it'll help you determine how to progress. A few key principles to note for this plan. Number 1, increase your duration by no more than 10% per week. This is the rule that prevents most overuse injuries in beginners. Number 2, use the talk test as your only intensity check. If you can comfortably hold a conversation, you're in the right place. Number 3, even 10 minutes of walking or exercising has meaningful physiological value. You don't have to do 30 minutes all at once. Start with 3 10-minute walks across the whole day, and those will count. It's very important to point out that sedentary individuals are at the greatest risk for cardiac events with sudden vigorous exertion. So the reason that this plan starts with comfortable walking and stays there for weeks isn't just for comfort. It's for safety. If you're starting from a long sedentary period and you're over 50, talk to your doctor before starting any structured exercise plan, particularly if you have a cardiac history. After 16 weeks of this, you'll have built a great aerobic base. From there, you can graduate either into Plan 2, if you're a runner, or into a similar progression plan if you're a cyclist. Speaking of runners, if you've been running consistently for somewhere between 6 months and 2 years, and you're putting in, say, 3 to 5 hours a week, this is your plan. It uses a pyramidal training intensity distribution, or TID, so about 75% below LT1, 15 to 20% in the threshold zone between LT1 and LT2, and about 5 to 10% above LT2. It looks something like this, and this is applicable to most of the plans. You first start with your base, you build, you develop, and then you sharpen. So again, we have 4 mesocycles, starting with the base, with a light amount of intensity work as per the usual pyramidal plan. And mesocycle 2, weeks 5 through 8, we're adding in some tempo sessions. Mesocycle 3, we develop. Now we're putting in some VO2 max intervals. And mesocycle 4, we're going to sharpen. We're going to increase the amount of time that we spend. We're also going to look to increase our intensity to race level. The weekly architecture of mesocycle 3, which is pretty representative, looks something like 3 easy runs around 40 to 60 minutes each, fully below LT1, and they're conversational. Then 1 tempo session, something like a 3 by 10 minute at threshold pace with a 2 to 3 minute jog recovery in between. And then 1 VO2 max interval session, something like a 5 by 3 or 4 by 4 minutes at a hard interval pace, interspersed with equal length, very low effort recovery intervals. Again, the full week by week schedule is in the guide. That's downloadable. The key observation with this plan is that it is pyramidal, not polarized. The reason is that pyramidal training tends to produce better results in athletes at this experience level. Polarized training, on the other hand, which minimizes threshold and concentrates higher intensity work into a smaller number of harder sessions, works better at higher experience levels and higher weekly volumes. For cyclists at the intermediate level, the same pyramidal structure applies, with cycling-specific session prescriptions anchored to FTP, or your functional threshold power, which approximates LT2. I'll remind you of the Coggin 7-zone reference, and then the Plan 3 structure, which follows. The plan for an intermediate level cyclist also includes starting with a base, then building on that base, developing by adding some high-intensity sessions, and then sharpening. A note on FTP and zone mapping that matters here. Coggin Zone 1 plus Zone 2, which are recovery and endurance, together correspond to below LT1 in the research model. So when you see 75 to 80% of training in Coggin Zone 2, that's the same as 75 to 80% below LT1. It's the same physiologic territory. The cycling community just splits it into 2 prescription zones. The FTP retest in week 16 is critical. Your FTP at the end of a successful 16-week block should be measurably higher than at the start. That's how you confirm the plan is working, and you can then recalibrate your zones for the next block. For athletes with multi-year experience and the ability to train 7 hours a week or more, the highest leverage approach is what's called PYR-to-POL sequence. Pyramidal training first, then polarized. This is the sequence that, in published research on well-trained runners, produced the largest improvements across every measured variable: VO2 peak, velocity at LT1, velocity at LT2, and 5K time trial performance, significantly greater than either model used alone for the same duration. So this is divided up into two phases, weeks 1 through 8, which is the pyramidal base, and phase 2, which include weeks 9 to 16, which is the polarization intensification component. The weekly structure differs across the two phases. Phase 1, which, as I mentioned, is the pyramidal base, looks like 4 to 5 easy sessions, 1 to 2 tempo or threshold sessions, and 0 to 1 short interval sessions per week. However, in phase 2, which is the polarized intensification, it looks like 4 to 5 easy sessions, minimal threshold work, and 2 high-intensity sessions per week, separated by at least 48 hours. Example of the high-intensity session might look like 4 by 4 minutes at VO2 max pace, or 6 by 3 minutes at hard interval pace, or in cycling 4 or 5 by 4 minutes at 106 to 120% FTP. That's the hurt zone. The principle here is to build your aerobic base first. Sharpen the peak second. Don't try to do both at the same time. That's the gray zone trap. So which plan should you start with? Let me share the plan selection decision tree. If you're currently exercising less than 2 hours per week or are starting from sedentary, plan 1. If you're exercising 2 to 5 hours per week, less than 2 years of consistent training, go for plan 2 or plan 3 from the bike. If you're training 5 to 7 hours per week and you've got at least 2+ years of consistent training, go to plan 2 or 3 with a progression to plan 4, which is pretty competitive. If you're doing 7+ hours per week and you have multiple years of experience, go straight to plan 4. But be honest in your self-assessment. The cost of starting too aggressively is injury, burnout, and a high probability of quitting before you see any results. And the cost of starting too conservative is slower progress. You'll still progress, and you can graduate up after 1 mesocycle if it's clearly too easy. But most recreational athletes overestimate their starting fitness. So start 1 tier below what you think you need. You can always go up. Much more difficult to go down when you're starting out hard without injuring yourself. In the final episode, episode 5, we close out the series with monitoring, progression, common mistakes to avoid, and how this all fits into the broader picture of musculoskeletal and metabolic health, which is really my interest and the basis of the health nexus orthopedics and wellness concept. Remember, the full week-by-week schedule, every session, every interval, every progression are in my free downloadable guide, which is linked in the description, along with links to all of the preceding episodes. Here's to you living your best life. I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.